This is a Clouds weather alert.
Good Friday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center giving you the latest information on a weather situation that's starting to evolve here right now in parts of our area. The first warning of the day here is for parts of Flagler, Marion, Putnam, and St. Johns counties here until 2:15 for that 60-mile-an-hour wind gust potential. We're also watching that lightning threat as well. I'm really concerned about that because we haven't had storms here in a widespread manner like this erupt here in a pretty good period of time. And then with all this daytime heating, we could have a situation where we have a bunch of cloud to ground lightning strikes here that could pose a hazard. So whenever you hear that thunder roar, you need to go indoors. That includes up toward areas around Hampton right now. So it's a significant weather advisory, but still we have some of that lightning here in play. So got to be really careful here this afternoon as we're watching things. And you also see that temperature contrast. The temperatures are a real big story as you see the area there, and as we start to see power flicker where I'm at here in Bradford County. You might be able to hear some of that in the background, but you can see here the heat toward the Gulf Coast there. 100 in Perry as I move this over even further. 101 in Dixie County, and then that purplish area is an excessive heat warning here in play. So just gotta be kind of mindful here of the dangerous weather conditions that we're dealing with, both from the heat and then once the heat just has that combined with the humidity, with the moisture, and then with some different things in the atmosphere. And then we have the storms developing. You see 97 Gainesville, 77 around Keystone. Such a huge and intriguing contrast in temperature here. I know getting some lightning even up towards Stark, though. You see pretty far away from the apparent thunderstorm here as we get closer towards State Road 100. And I know the power's been flickering a few times here. I haven't had any rain east of Stark, but we had the power flicker a few times, which is kind of unusual. I think it just shows you how dynamic things are overall, and we're now getting reports in out of the Lake Geneva area from just a few moments ago of some pea-sized hail there. So watching some of that there as we get down toward a street level map, and so going to keep our eyes on that situation. A pretty strong thunderstorm around Hampton. Gusts could be as high as 55 according to the Weather Service. As we look at velocity, maybe not quite that high still up at this point, but we'll continue to watch as this is a robust environment. Okay, we just did though get a gust. Okay, they're telling us here in the chat now. It's taking a little while to come in, but they're probably still putting on METARs here. Gust at the Keystone Airport there to 52 miles an hour. It says 51 here because it rounds down, but that is just coming in now. So no warning, but still some pretty strong storm action causing some issues here this afternoon. Could knock out a little bit of power even. So even on a severe storm, is getting gusts there that are on the pretty strong side. That's the strongest gust we've had reported so far today. So definitely interesting, and we'll back this up on the velocity a little bit. Yeah, you can see that right around Theresa there, and between Hampton and Theresa, that was a pretty good pocket of wind that was going through around 120 or so. And you see that report coming in just a little after, not as robust there now, but even a more robust and now technically a severe situation. Our first severe thunderstorm warning of the day in play for parts of Flagler, Marion, Putnam, and St. Johns counties until 2:15. At 1:39, a severe thunderstorm was located near San Mateo or near Andalusia there, moving southwest at 10 miles an hour, but we're seeing rapid development or radical movements here with this rapid development here. Palatka, Bunnell, Crescent City, Interlochen, Pomona Park, East Palatka, Andalusia there, as well as Lake Delancey, Fruitland, and Melrose landed under this. And I know just listening to the weather radio here when it was going off a few minutes ago, we have multiple alert methods. That's one of them, but just listening through there, all of the different statements included, they were emphasizing this, and I'll go ahead and read it verbatim here, that if you're on or near Crescent Lake or the St. Johns River, get away from the water and move indoors, excuse me, or inside a vehicle. And remember, lightning can strike at 15 miles from the parent thunderstorm. I apologize, but if you can hear thunder, you're close enough to be struck by lightning. Move to safe shelter now and do not be caught on the water in a thunderstorm. So again, we're watching this here this afternoon. Some nasty storms erupting. It's not just in North Florida. I mentioned South Georgia here as well. We have some advisors in play as we look east of Albany here. Storm over Sylvester that's getting pretty strong. storminess there toward Aspen there as we look toward Turner County. We're watching there Turner Worth counties there this afternoon, even parts of Tipp County there. We'll be watching over the next little bit. So a busy atmospheric situation, busy weather situation evolving here. And let's go ahead and punch up some of this power outage numbers since the power's been flickering a few times here. I suspect we do have a few outages in parts of the covered area here. So let's go ahead and jump on over right now to that Florida map, and we're doing this a little differently here. And we've had some technical issues with this lately, but we're going to go ahead and jump on over there now. You already see it looks like Putnam County right now bearing the brunt of the power outages. So we'll go ahead now and interact with this here, and we'll kind of give you guys a rundown on what we're talking about. As we get here toward Levy County, you see a few customers, but then Alachua County, it's a pretty low number there too. But contrast that with Putnam County, where nearly 2,000 folks are in the dark right now, give or take, customers anyway, so that means it could be over 2,000 folks. But we're talking about 1,694 customers. Flagler County there, over 1,000 as well. So getting those numbers to go up pretty quickly here as we're looking across the area this afternoon. We're trying to be with you here because these storms look to be a little more potent than your normal storms with all that heat energy around. We got a 96 where I'm at east of Stark before we ended up seeing the storms develop, but it's cooled down considerably since then. As we go ahead and go back on over now, we'll go back on over toward the mapping here as we continue to watch things very carefully. Again, we're looking down toward Putnam County here. Ooh, that looks like some rotation there, folks. That we could get a tornado to develop with that little or no advance warning here. We need to be careful. We need to be careful here as we're looking east of Pomona Park. That's right over, it looks like a body of water there. So we could be having a water spout develop, and this could, if it goes over land, we could have a quick spin up. So we need to be ready here. That's developed very rapidly, and this can happen sometimes in this environment. We could get a tornado warning to be issued by the Weather Service there in Jacksonville with little or no advanced warning here. So we need to be prepared. That's pretty tight rotation. Granted, it's over the water, it looks like right now there. It looks like it's over the water there, but that could be dangerous to boats out there, not just that lightning potential we've been alluding to. If anybody's out there as we're looking toward the bodies of water, we got to be really careful here. I'm going to check some Google Maps here just to kind of get in a little bit better on this area. I'm going to check this behind the scenes so we kind of have an idea of what's going on here. I know we're on pretty early this afternoon with you, but we're just seeing these storms develop so quickly, so rapidly here. I know, I just want to make sure we're running this down for you. So this is north of Crescent City here in this vicinity. We're also talking about Pomona Park there. We're talking about that area as well. So I just want everybody to be on guard. You might start talking about it here in the chat in just a moment. Just continuing here to watch what's happening. You see Willaca is to the west of this. So as we kind of get into these areas, we're talking about Crescent Lake here. We're talking about Crescent Lake. We have this area of rotation developing here. We could have a water spout over the lake right now based on radar indications here. That even looks like a little bit of something. I know it's not perfectly matching up with the inflow there, that notch that we're seeing, but that could be something there. That definitely looks like something, folks. I'm surprised Weather Service hadn't said anything about it, but they're always watching things very carefully, obviously. And we're now already getting thunderstorm wind damage here in play. They're now going, they're saying considerable damage, so they've decided just to raise it. They think this is more straight line wind versus tornado here as we're getting in toward this area. But there's now a considerable damage threat. And that report, by the way, toward Flagler County Emergency Management reporting a tree down halfway across State Road 100 at Bertha Road. There, so definitely a nasty situation. Again, considerable damage now possible as we're looking toward this area. We're watching it very carefully. I'm going to check a different color table because sometimes things show up a little bit differently here as we go between some of our different modes. I just want to kind of see here how things are showing up on one of our other sources, because sometimes maybe it looks like rotation on one mode, and then on another mode it looks more like maybe straight line winds. So I just kind of want to see here because that can be helpful in these type of circumstances. So again, we're watching carefully here for you this afternoon on all the different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch here, keeping you guys up to date. Let me go ahead and pull up those precautions while we have this up right now, this velocity, because now we could end up seeing a different type of warning here ultimately, but right now, severe thunderstorm warning here in play. That looks like some rotation, even on this mode here, folks. I mean, it's not really clear per se. It may not be, but I'm going to go ahead and pull up our other mode here. But considerable damage is considerable damage, whether it's from rotation, whether it's from just straight line winds. So you need to really take this storm seriously, especially here. We're looking east of Pomona Park. We have other areas here of when we have multiple areas of damaging wind potential trying to set up here now. And that kind of broadened out in our last scan a little bit. But that's a high concentration of wind there just north of Crescent City, but around Crescent Lake. And they're around Pomona Park. And then you can see west of Willaca there. We have an area of wind enhancement as well. A little bit of something here, but not as concerning. But this right here, you see some wind enhancement here as well. Not maybe quite as concerning. This is the most concerning area right here. But again, we have to just be really careful here this afternoon. With this setup, things can develop very quickly here in this type of environment. So let me go ahead and switch back on over now to our other Doppler radar. We'll go ahead. We're looking here real quick. Street level mapping. We're talking about some of the worst of the wind near State Road 20. We're also talking about a little bit of some enhancement on the southern side of this, maybe closer into toward town here of Crescent City as we get toward Amos Road. That's the latest scan now. Again, things are changing rapidly here, folks. And the movement on this is south at 15 miles an hour to worse near Andalusia is what they're saying. But Willaca, Bunnell, Crescent City, Interlochen, Pomona Park, East Willaca, under this lake, Delancey, Fruitland, and Melrose Landing. So we're going to check correlation coefficient here again. Not really seeing anything too much in that, so that's good. Still got to watch it though. Still got to monitor it very carefully. That would show if something a little more enhanced is happening there potentially. But considering the velocity signature that gave us that gust over 50 toward Keystone Airport, we definitely could have went towards 70 miles an hour here right now. So we need to take this seriously this afternoon. Again, we're on all the different platforms with you, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch to keep you guys advised of the weather situation here. We're trying to give you guys the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family here. I'm just going to go ahead and check on over. I'm going to go ahead and check the chat again. Nothing new right now, but I'm just trying to give you guys the latest information here. We're going to go ahead and see that storm to the north in Bradford and Clay's weakening some, but still some lightning potential there. And then again, we're watching things toward the south. There's your damage report already as we get there toward State Road 100 at Bertha Road there. We're seeing that. And I'll take the winds off real quick. Let me go ahead and put on our temperatures again, because I think this tells an important story. I mean, so many areas so excessively warm, excessively hot, even as we get out toward the Gulf Coast, there are the excessive heat warnings in play, something we don't see around here too much. I mean, including parts there of Franklin, McCullough, Jefferson, all of Taylor, all of Dixie, all of Lafayette there, and then parts of Levy as well. So we're going to be watching that threat when we're not getting that rain and storminess moving through some different communities here. So still, we're seeing some greens and reds want to be closer together here. And we just have to be on guard, whether it's damage and wind, whether it's maybe more of a gate-to-gate type signature. That's something that is going to be we're going to be watching it. But it's a situation where, in terms of damage, 70-mile-an-hour winds or a lower level tornado, it might not make a huge difference. You just got to take the storm seriously one way or the other here. So we're going to continue to watch this very carefully. We're just getting past the top of the hour. You see things look a little broader now in nature here overall, and it's still a lot of the rotation wants to cluster right around Crescent Lake there. So we're going to continue here to track that. I also want to go ahead and see our whole area view now Let me go ahead and do that on our other source. We'll go ahead and switch sources right now, and you'll be able to see your marginal risk area as we get here. You can see a storm in Levy County starting to erupt here quickly. I mean, in that heat, over 100-degree heat here. You see Cross City Airport. They're at 100.8. These are temperatures we don't see that often around here. And, I mean, marginal risk in play. And then we have the incredible, I mean, these are incredible values. We're talking about 5,500 joules per kilogram. I know that doesn't mean a lot to most folks, but as a meteorologist, it's something when you see stuff like this, these temperatures in play, I mean, we have the moisture, we have everything in play for dangerous afternoon storms. And that's what we're starting to see develop rapidly, about as quick as you ever can imagine. I mean, check the radar at 12 o'clock, there's nothing there. And about 2 o'clock, we have damage already being reported. Gusts there over 50 being reported, probably gusts again even higher. I'm going to be getting some hail mixing in here as well as we get down here on the Doppler radar east of Pomona Park. We're seeing hail maybe to an inch in diameter. A little bit earlier on there, you can see showing up a little bit better, even a little bit higher there on the Doppler. So very nasty weather afternoon here as we get there toward Levy County. You see Otter Creek. This is a strong storm, but not a severe storm. We have storms in Georgia. You see Albany at 99, and toward Worth County there, you see some storminess here in play. Just continuing to watch here everything that's ongoing in the Doppler radar signatures. Trying to keep you guys up to date here. I know we're seeing these temperatures that are just so warm. I mean, southern Alabama there, Alabama there, Andalusia, Alabama, 103 degrees. I mean, that really tells a story. By the way, there's a national severe weather story that's going to be taking place later on as we get toward parts of North and South Dakota and even in toward Minnesota with an enhanced risk of severe weather. Thunderstorm warning in Minnesota right now, but tornado threat there, 5%, but hail and wind is what's driving the enhanced risk of severe weather there. So just to break away real quick from our storminess down here, but we're sticking with you. Let's go ahead and take a look at rotation currently. Still showing that pretty well in rotation tracker, and it was showing that over the last little bit in a pretty similar area. So I'm curious if there's, now obviously it really isn't probably safe to do it, but if there are any water spout photos out of this area, definitely be interesting to see them here. Definitely be interesting to see, but don't put yourself in harm's way. And with the thunder roaring, you need to be indoors here this afternoon. And by the way, with that upgraded considerably, also upgraded the hail threat to an inch, by the way. I didn't really touch on that as much. We showed it in hail tracker though, but you see a couple different areas here, really, maybe 3 areas here of enhancement in this warning. I mean, the worst is still right there over Crescent Lake. We're looking in that area right now. We're trying to give you guys the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family. You see some enhancement around Palatka, some pretty strong winds maybe there could knock out some power. And then even as we get down toward areas there just west of Palatka, State Road 19 there, getting some wind enhancement as well. So latest update now, 204. They're still saying 71-hour wind possible and inch-size hail potential there as well. So we're going to go ahead and read that latest information in, that latest severe weather statement that just came in from the National Weather Service office there in Jacksonville as they continue this warning for parts of Flagler, Marion, Putnam, and St. Johns counties until 2:15. At 2:03, a severe thunderstorm was located over Crescent City, moving southwest at 10 miles an hour, 70-mile-an-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail possible. Palatka, Bunnell, Crescent City, Interlock, and Pomona Park, East Palatka, Andalusia, Lake Delancey, Fruitland, and Melrose Landing under this. And remember, Crescent Lake and the St. Johns River, you gotta be getting away from the lightning potential there if you're on the water, because more indoors you are, generally the safer you are. Move indoors or inside a vehicle, as remember, lightning can strike up to 15 miles from the parent thunderstorm, and if you can hear thunder, you are close enough to be struck by lightning. So move to safe shelter. Do not be caught on the water in a thunderstorm. That's very important to keep in mind here as we watch things this afternoon. We're going to continue here to track things. I know, wow, our visible satellite really showing this well here. This development, this rapid development, As we get down here, you see here just the nature of things, and as I go to infrared satellite, you see the really cold cloud tops as well. See a little bit of that to the north, but that's where the worst of it is here, and then even in Levy County, as we get toward Otter Creek there, things are pretty nasty. Your water vapor imagery there, you can see how things are setting up on that. We're just going to have to kind of watch things carefully here in terms of the storm development here this afternoon, as this threat could last here for a while as we continue here to monitor. You see rotation tractors kind of weaken things down some, but as you get here toward the north, we're still watching things in Bradford County. Now that development kind of early on might have helped some here in Bradford, but there's still going to be plenty of energy left here based on the surface-based Cape values in a general sense. So we just have to keep that in mind here for sure this afternoon. Again, these temperatures so warm out there. Let me go ahead and show you guys what we're talking about. I mean, 101 there toward Taylor County, 101 as we get down toward Tallahassee there. Just extreme heat, folks. You just got to really be careful. Drink plenty of water. Limit your outdoor exposure to the heat. And obviously, when there's lightning around, another reason not to go outdoors here, as the temperatures will cool here. But when you have that lightning around, that's dangerous now. A place like Stark, I mean, right now we're actually in a little bit better shape because it's a little cooler in. We don't really have as much of that lightning threat in play at this very moment, at least. So that's some good news. But we'll continue to watch things. Again, a very dynamic situation toward the south and east here this afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our power outage, the U.S. mapping. Let me go ahead and go to that right now. The latest update here coming on in over the last several moments. And you can see now almost 7,000 folks in the dark. So let me go ahead and interact with this again. See the county by county breakdown here. See a few in Bradford, but let's go to Marion first. Over 1,000. I know we had some issues here yesterday with it. Looks like a downburst, and then Putnam over 3,500 customers in the dark. Flagler County 415, and we'll go up toward Bradford County 122 customers in the dark. I know I've been flickering where I'm at here some, but again, continuing to watch things very carefully in this weather situation and this weather setup here, as we go ahead and bounce back on over now toward the Doppler Radar. Again, severe thunderstorm warning for another 6 minutes here for parts of Putnam, Flagler, Marion, and St. Johns counties. Specifically, we're talking about northern Flagler, south central St. Johns, northeastern Marion, and then Putnam, more of Putnam really included there. So they're just going to go ahead and not limit themselves in terms of that geographic description, but again, Al Hendrick there, NASA Weather Service meteorologist with the latest update there. I've been Nelson before that. As we're continuing here to let's look over things. We're just trying to give you guys the latest information here in the Weather Center, trying to keep you guys advised here on what's going on with those Doppler Radar scans. You see things look a little messier right now in terms of the rain. It's going to be a lot of rain here in these areas, but this isn't as much severe weather potential that's showing up. Granted, could still get an extension here because we're seeing some potential in here, but even if we don't get an extension, that lightning threat, I mean, this is just a copious amount of lightning, if you can call it that here. We're seeing copious amounts of lightning here as we get toward Palatka. It's very dangerous. You don't want to be outside, whether there's a warning or not in play. With all this lightning around Crescent City, don't want to be on Crescent Lake still, obviously. As we look here, even down toward Corona there in Flagler County. And we had that tornado there in late 2019. It isn't necessarily a tornadic situation. Granted, we've seen some rotation. We still do see some rotation now east of Crescent City. But we just have to be kind of mindful of the overall situation that we're in here with some dangerous cloud around lightning and some heavier wind potential as well. So we're going to continue here watching the Doppler. East of Albany there, you see some heavier storms. No severe warning up here, but Sylvester there, you see some lightning. Remember, when thunder roars, go indoors here this afternoon for sure. As we just continue here to check everything, we're going to go ahead now and look at the last 12 hours with rainfall over an inch there. And then you get down to the south, you see not really right in the ward parts of Stark, southern parts maybe, but as you get here toward Keystone Airport, radar showing an inch and a half there. And in fact, I'll check. I think we can check the observation on that here pretty easy. So I'll go ahead and do that right now just to see what they've received there in the last little bit. Since they got to over 50, they got a pretty nasty storming plan. They're even reporting fog there at the airport. So definitely some nastier weather down there. About a 7/10 of an inch in the last hour, and that last observation that came in from the Keystone Airport. But radar showing more than that even here, about an inch and a half, give or take, as we're looking at things, as we're examining things here within the Doppler Radar echoes here this afternoon. Again, we're on all the different platforms to keep you guys advised. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch. We're just trying to give you guys the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family here this afternoon. I know you can watch on Roku, for instance, with the YouTube stream. Just pull that up on your TV. Granted, there is that lightning threat, and you got to consider that. But if maybe you're away from a storm right now, just want to have your TV on, you can do that right now with the live coverage, or just watching your mobile phone. And if you think you need to be in that safe spot, just pull up one of your apps: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Just pull up an app here and get the latest information on what's going on here this afternoon as we continue here to watch things. We continue to give you guys the latest information. We're trying to make sure we're providing that to you here as we kind of see what the Weather Service is going to do. I know we are seeing a little bit of enhancement here in western parts of Putnam County now. So maybe some strengthening here southeast of Hawthorne now. So we have to watch for that here over the next little bit. So let me go ahead and show you things here on the Doppler right now. Again, things look a little muddier, but we still gotta watch it. We still gotta watch that radar picture. You still have a little bit of weak rotation, maybe east of Crescent City, but maybe the stronger winds trying to get down to the surface of the badness up there. We definitely saw some enhancement here around Crescent Lake around 150. May have had a water spout there, maybe some significant burst of wind down toward the surface possible in that area. Not seeing quite as robust of a signature now, but as they back it up one more time here, you can kind of see how it comes together. And we watch that here. You can see right there, 151, we had winds there, 40 something one way, then about 20 the other way. And then, I mean, just as we continue here to watch, you can kind of see here how things have developed. Let's go back to the current view. I don't want to confuse anybody about kind of going between that back and forth. But as we continue here to see, there's a significant weather advisory that's been issued for parts of Volusia County there outside of a covered area. They're saying gusts up to 50 there. The Weather Service office in Melbourne is. So we'll watch to see how things are tracking toward that area. And then you can see Levy County here. We're watching things at development here, though, east of Lockalusa. That seems to be the intensifying area, and our ZDR product's showing that well. This means, and again, we get technical here sometimes, but this is indicating upscale growth here, storm intensification here, east of Lockalusa right now. You can see, as I go back on radar, how things are coming together there. So that could be a threat into more parts of Marion County, especially over the next little bit. This tries to mature here as we continue to watch the Doppler Radar echoes. So again, we're at 2:15. A warning did go away for now, it looks like. We just have to continue here to watch to see if we get a new warning or new warnings here issued by the National Weather Service office here in Jacksonville. We'll see if Tallahassee issues anything here on stuff. Nothing right now necessarily imminent over that way, but we'll continue to watch here. Continue to watch all those latest scans, obviously. I am going to loop the radar and loop the temperatures here some for you as well, because you kind of see how things have evolved over the last little bit. You can kind of see that overall progression here as we continue on tracking things here this afternoon. You can kind of see how storminess has evolved on us here and kind of pushed south, not quite as enhanced as it was necessarily, but we have different areas on the borders kind of trying to get its act together, get their act together here as we continue to watch. But the warning no longer in play for now, but we're going to stick with it for a few more minutes because we definitely could get more warnings here issued this afternoon. Probably will get more warnings issued, whether they're in the next few moments or not, that's the question. But that storm in Levy County looks pretty impressive. let me see here. Let's see if there's any update on that. I'm surprised we don't have a significant weather advisory out on that, but the wind doesn't look all that impressive in it, despite some small hail signatures maybe trying to pop up. We gotta watch the lightning. It doesn't matter if there's an advisory or warning. If you hear that thunder, if you don't have to have any of those, if you hear that thunder, that's your warning. Just go ahead and get inside, because this lightning, I keep emphasizing, I'm just really concerned because people kind of think, well, it's Friday, let's go ahead and go outside. It's summertime. Let's try to enjoy things on the lake. Don't do that if you hear that thunder around. I mean, really, even if you're not hearing it now, you gotta be watching the radar. You gotta be listening very carefully. We just got a new warning now. Weather Service has just put a trigger on the new warning now until 2:45. Report to Putnam County. So we're gonna go ahead here and we're gonna go ahead and show that to you. That's a very unusual looking polygon. That reminds me. Wow, they used to do that for the whole county, didn't they? That's kind of a blast from the past. That's how they used to do it. Literally, I think they used the entire county boundary to issue this, which is something that I haven't seen in a long time. But to be just using the actual county boundary like that, that's how they used to issue things 15 years ago, give or take. Weather Service did, but just issuing it for the whole county there. But Putnam County, the entire zone there, included until 2:45. Some of the worst of the accident they're saying over Palatka, moving northeast at 5, but Roy, Palatka, Crescent City, Interlochen, Pomona Park, East Palatka, Melrose, Georges Lake, Fruitland, Flora Home there, Bostwick, all under this warning. So just continuing here to watch this situation. A new warning now in play. Just enough of a threat here for them to do this here at the Weather Service office in Jacksonville. I know just different areas here of enhancement that are kind of interesting. Looks like right now we're getting some enhancement here south of Interlochen. So let me go ahead and pop that on up here. County Road 315. You can see here we're going to continue to watch things carefully as we see some winds maybe closer to 40 soon up on the velocity in this area. And we'll just continue here to track everything as it moves on off. Right now they're saying northeast at 5, but erratic movement as you've seen. Some warning information says south, some says southwest, this says northeast. It's because things are just going all sorts of different directions here in this type of setup, forming in all sorts of different directions, and makes things really hard to track. But just to under the warning, you got to be extra careful. But even if you're just hearing that thunder, you need to be extra careful. I know we had a person down in California earlier this weekend. They don't generally have that lightning threat out there, but there's cloud-to-ground strikes here. I know we're in Lightning Awareness Week, ironically, and we just need to be very aware here of this threat, because this is when we have the higher potential for fatalities here this time of year. Just looking at some of the information, you just got to be really careful here from that lightning threat. I know we maybe seemingly are overemphasizing that, but I mean, that's just something you don't have to have a warning for. We don't have to be on the air for. May not be on the air when it happens. It's just the nature of living here in this part of the country. This time of year, that threat is more pronounced than really most places in most times of the year. But we'll continue here to watch everything within the Doppler Radar. Otter Creek, some strong storm action, but that area there, as we get there again on street level mapping, is definitely interesting there. As we're getting down there, it looks like near Hard Bargain Trail there, we're watching some wind enhancement. So I know this is cooling things down, but we're continuing to watch things. I zoom in really tight real quick, but you can see here we're just continuing to monitor the weather scenario here as things do develop, as they do push on off here. And again, we have that erratic motion on things. So let me go ahead. We'll bounce back on over right now. That is very unusual, by the way, the way they did that. I mean, it very well can work here in this type of situation. The whole county polygon, I just haven't seen that in a long time, for them to just use the county border exclusively there, it looks like, in the word Putnam County, but with the different signatures and the erratic movement, it definitely can work in this situation. It's just kind of unusual to see them just stick to the whole county like that. That's something that used to happen 15, 20 years ago, for them to just draw along the lines, and no matter where the storminess was. But it's just so erratic, and it works here in this situation. As we go ahead and look here, that wind threat here is for much of our area. today. You see that 5% wind risk here. Now, hail doesn't show up as much. Tornado threat really not here on the SPC outlook or anything. You never know what the boundaries. We could have a really quick spin up, a water spout, something like that. I'm going to check some different things behind the scenes because I'm curious to kind of know if we've gotten any reports of water spouts here. Maybe there's some pictures on social media. I won't necessarily be able to say those on air, but I just want to see here if there's any information coming across here. Some different outlets, some different sources here, because it'd be kind of just interesting here to kind of get a handle on things. We're just checking here right now as we continue along. Thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me. If you are watching with me here, we're just trying to give you guys the very latest, because these storms can be dangerous. The heat's dangerous too, as we've emphasized, and we had an excessive heat warning here in play. So that's kind of intriguing here as well. That excessive heat warning here in play for part of our area closer toward the Big Bend coastline. Let's see, they just expired out one of the other warnings. I guess just wanted to kind of make sure that things are taken care of there, just to make sure everybody understands what's going on here. But I'll go ahead and click on that. I guess this came a little bit after that. They're at time benchmark there at 2:15. But again, we're still watching things. We're still tracking things here this afternoon. Definitely some interesting radar signatures here in the weather center. Getting things going pretty early, which may, for some spots, kind of help us out here in terms of precluding the storms impacting that evening commute as much, or those late night plans. But other spots, not as much luck there on your side. It doesn't look like, as we continue here. I know we don't really necessarily have any cameras here in this area in Putnam County to show you. We do have some in Flagler County, but there's no official warning there. But I may go ahead and pop up one of them anyway, because that lighting here still could be something that you might kind of want to look at here as we continue along in the coverage. We continue to give you this coverage here to protect you, your friends, and your family here this afternoon. Again, let me go ahead and pop on up our cameras here. We're going to go ahead and look on in there south of Palm Coast, because definitely maybe we're going to get that perspective on the cloud cover here. Yeah, some interesting cloud cover for sure out of Flagler County. So let me go ahead and show this to you. Nothing really impressive. Granted, traffic looks pretty backed up here, but we'll go ahead and switch over to the Florida 5-on-1 cameras, looking northwest, by the way. So it's kind of not in maybe the perfect spot, but it's in a pretty good spot here with this. So there's your viewpoint right now, and this is that live perspective here as we continue on with the coverage. I-95 there northbound at mile marker 289. You can kind of see what is happening there. You see the traffic kind of backed up some as well. So some of that storminess around could be causing issues. I mean, this isn't the worst of things, though. Don't get me wrong. The worst is in Putnam County. It looks like I don't really have any cameras there to say you, but just wanted to give you guys a look outside right now as we'll continue along for a while now with the latest information. I'm going to keep looking to see if there's anything that gives us any type of better perspective here on what's going on. I mean, this is kind of a similar side in some ways. We'll go ahead and jump to it, though. Just real quick, you can see that cloud cover. That's pretty impressive there. The structure there, as we're looking here, depending on the contrast, you can kind of make it out maybe a little bit better on some screens. But up there, just that contrast here with the impressive cloud cover in play. As we look at the cameras here, you kind of see those slick roads, and that can be dangerous as well. That can lead to car accidents. People trying to get out of town for the weekend, something like that. And you have these dangerous storms in play. Or even just light rain. I mean, the oils on the roads here. Not to just overhype this per se, but that's always a threat as well. So we'll just continue here to watch everything within the Doppler, within the camera shots here this afternoon. I know we'll be kind of curious to hear if we get some more damage reports in. I'm a little surprised we haven't had anything else come in as of yet, but it may take a little bit to get these reports here in as we continue to watch things. I know there's actually right before I kind of was going to this radar view. There's some rotation trying to develop in Volusia County, but it seemingly has kind of fallen back down a little bit here on the latest scan. But I'll back this up for you guys. You see there round, it looks like State Highway 40, the scan beforehand. We were seeing something try to emerge there, but it seemingly is kind of falling apart some. I may check some cameras down there. I mean, obviously not as big of a concern for our area, but I'm just kind of curious if we could catch some type of funnel cloud here on camera. It would definitely be kind of interesting here to show the viewers, but we'll just continue to watch here, because if we have a camera looking in the right direction, it could kind of give us that shot. So just kind of curious here. Just kind of curious, checking some things. This is a camera as we get down toward Volusia County that I'm looking at. I'll pop it up for you guys as well. I'm not really necessarily seeing anything obvious here. I mean, definitely nastier weather in play, but we'll go ahead and see this right now. You can see some interesting things trying to show up there. Nothing apparent. I mean, little something there hanging down, but nothing really apparent here this afternoon on this shop. Kind of in a pretty good spot, maybe, as we're kind of watching some of this storminess here on play. So we'll just continue to keep our eyes on things here, obviously, in the Weather Center, trying to get the latest information in here as the storminess does continue. The traffic's backed up on another shot down there. I won't go to it, it's out of our area, but no storms in play there, but just nastier traffic here. People trying to enjoy their weekend, and they're out and about, and that can be dangerous when you have all these thunderstorms here in play. I mean, it's Florida and South Georgia here as well, but I don't know, we get them, but still, just really want to make sure people are staying on guard here, staying up to date here this afternoon. I know we have a storm toward Madison County that seems a little bit stronger. Let me go ahead and go up that way here, and we'll be able to see the guy good on velocity, but we're watching some of that no advisory, though, in play. But you see this storm showing up really well from the radar there, even in Jacksonville there in southwestern parts. It looks like a Turner County. That we'll watch for that. A development still 101, by the way, in Perry. Just interesting to see. You see Cross City there at 86. You see a little bit of wind enhancement west of Williston right now. They're at 96. Again, the heat here really nasty, and then you get these storms. You get the moisture in play. You get all these dynamics to come together here. And you see in Marion County, that seems to be where some of the worst of the wind is now. No official warning down there. I may not need one if we're not going to be getting the reports in here. But that's wind to 40 miles an hour showing up in velocity. No advisory, so they're going to have to do something, whether it's an advisory or a warning down there. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. But 2:29 now. I've been on for about 45 minutes or so. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center, keeping you guys up to date on trying to severe storms impacting parts of North Florida and South Georgia here. Just kind of trying to see if there's any type of information here in or out of these areas that is noteworthy. We're not seeing a lot of that, but let's go ahead and pop up the power outage mapping again, because that's always kind of helpful. It'll help us out in terms of the grand scheme of things, even if we're not necessarily getting the reports in right away. If the customers are being tracked here from the different power outage companies, we're able to kind of display that for you. And you do see over 6,000 customers still in the dark. You see Putnam kind of leading the way there, but even Levy County, there are a few folks there in terms of percentage showing up there a little bit better in the dark. So you see Putnam there, a little bit of that greener tint to it, really just barely a green tint toward Levy County. So we'll kind of continue here to watch that here in the Weather Center. But let's get back on over toward the radar now. We're just continuing here. I know we repeat ourselves from time to time, but we're just trying to give you guys the latest information here to protect you, your friends, and your family. And they went with a significant weather advisory for Marion here now until 3 o'clock. So it looks like that's the direction they're going in right now versus in a severe thunderstorm warning. So we may start to wrap this up here pretty soon, but I think I'm going to take a 2.5-minute break. We'll kind of watch things, and we'll gather more information in that time. And we'll be back here pretty soon as a storm developing there. I may get a warning in South Georgia. Let me punch that up real quick here. Before we cut over. Okay, we actually got a new warning now in Levy County. Okay, I guess we're not taking a break yet then. right when you think you can kind of take a quick break, things started to ramp up on us. So we just got a warning out of the Tampa office for Levy County now until 3 o'clock. So that's going to pop up here in just a second. You see Williston there, and they're under this warning until 3 o'clock now. So the latest information at 2:31 is severe thunderstorm warning here in play, and the worst of it near the Williston Municipal Airport or near Williston, moving southeast at 10 miles an hour. Williston Highlands, and Williston Municipal Airport getting the brunt of this. I mean, you have 96 degrees in terms of temperature, and then you get a storminess to develop, and that's not really a good combination here with all the atmospheric parameters that we're seeing. And that storm there to south of Ashburn there, we were seeing some enhancement on it on the frame before, but we'll continue to watch see if that kind of ramps back up. Storm Marion trying to above another one south of Ocala now. And I know Tampa office talking about looking for an active afternoon here. Plenty of storms in play ongoing across North Florida. And that cell near Williston really pulsing up. Now, the environment doesn't look very supportive for hail, but precipitation loading could absolutely support a severe microburst. So, gotta watch for that. We're gonna take a quick break now, 2.5 minutes. We'll gather more details. Be back soon.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Back here in the Weather Center at 2:35, I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud in this weather alert mode as we're continuing to track things. The reason the alert mode got into place because of excessive heat warning there off toward areas there further in toward the Gulf Coast area. I'll go ahead and pop that map up real quick. You see the pinkish color there on the board. The word parts of Franklin, McCullough, Jefferson, and then all of Taylor, all there of Dixie, all of Lafayette County there. And then you see Levy County, part of that in play as well. But right now, the reason we're on is because of 2 severe thunderstorm warnings here in play. One around Williston. They're really getting hammered right now around Williston. They're getting some very nasty weather there in that area right now. So having to deal with that there in Levy County, and then Putnam County area. It seems like the worst has kind of moved out of there. So we'll continue to monitor that situation. But Williston, really getting it nasty in terms of that weather right now. As we get down the street level map in northeast 16th place there, northeast 152nd court. You see around Montbrook there in play as well. We'll continue to watch State Road 121 though in play. Williston Highlands, it seems like maybe even Williston Highlands might be getting a worse there than Williston proper right now. So kind of just interesting in terms of your Williston geography here right now. As we continue to watch this severe thunderstorm warning, a pretty rare one here for parts of Levy County until 3 o'clock. So we'll continue here to track all that. And we just got a new warning now. It looks like it hadn't come through in chat yet, but we just got a new warning now for parts there of Marion County. This is a severe thunderstorm warning until 3 o'clock for south central Marion. At 2:36, a severe thunderstorm here was located near Silver Springs Shores. Also near Lynn, moving north at about 5 miles an hour. So we're just going to continue here to track that there. You see Ocala, Lynn, Santos there, Moss Bluff, Bellevue. As I'm reset chat here, sometimes it likes to kind of bounce us out of that. But we're going to go ahead and continue here to watch now 3 warned areas here of potential severe weather. One going here in the southern counties here of north central Florida. So we're sticking with you to guide you through it. This time of year we play things by ear, but this is a unique setup here really to get these storms to develop with these type of temperatures in play. This is not a good combination. We rarely have temperatures like this in the first place, and then we haven't had the storms, but now we get the storms, and that kind of settles things down atmospherically in some regard. They're now expiring Putnam County out, so that's going to drop off of the screen. They're just saying that here to get back in the chat session. So I just want to make sure here that we're giving you guys the very latest information. That'll go away right now as you see it on the screen disappear. So just trying to see what they're telling us here in the chat. I know the warning from Marion is because there's a large core there aloft just southeast of Ocala, which could bring 60-mile-an-hour winds and large hail in the area there. So we just have to kind of keep things we have to watch things very closely, keep monitoring things for sure. I know if you're wondering about Bradford County here, I know a little bit tricky because it looks like we're starting to see some more storm development now. It's very erratic situation, so you can't really go off of even the models for that perfection there in terms of a forecast, but you start to see some development on the northern end here in the latest scan, so we'll have to see how that kind of develops up. Maybe towards Stark, we'll see. It's really a tough forecast, but we're going to continue to watch here. Crescent City, 46-mile-an-hour gusts at 217 being reported in toward that area there. We're looking back down toward Williston, though. You see some greens and reds coming together. I'm going to see if this is the closest radar and it is the closest radar, okay. Sometimes you can check the Tampa radar or one of those. I know the other radar down right now, Moody, but we'll just continue here to check things. So right now we have 2 warnings in play with the one for Putnam going away there last hour in terms of rainfall. At this color table, you see Otter Creek there. You see some of these areas here over 3 inches in an hour in that whitest, grayest area there. So we'll continue here to watch all that. Storm total rainfall. You see parts of Bradford County there. State Road 100 picking up over an inch, and we haven't gotten anything up in the word parts of Stark. You see Hampton there about an inch. Some areas that they get down really tight here on street level map, and let me go ahead and do that. I give you guys a look at that information right now. I know we've had the thunder around, had the power flicker a few times at Fort Stark, but the rain falling down toward Hampton earlier. Southeast 49th Avenue, 1.1 inches there. Prospect Avenue there, 1.1 inches. Pine Street there, a little bit less, it looks like. Orange Street there, Florida Avenue, you kind of get the idea there. State Highway 18, we just continue to watch there with the heavier rain, though, even falling more toward Putnam County, where we've seen over 3 inches towards Silver Lake Road there. That's a lot of rain, pretty short amount of time. Malacca here closer to 2 inches around County Road 309, it looks like, in this area. So we're just kind of seeing how everything's going on up here toward that spot. And again, right now, the development, you see, look at Williston really cooling down there. And in fact, 78 degrees now. And in terms of that wind, getting the latest observation there, not extreme at the center there. But now we're getting reports down toward Marion County, folks. Whoa, this is interesting. This is the same area we were dealing with yesterday, 3 miles northwest of Silver Spring Shores. Again, there are now reports that spotted estimating at least 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So maybe the same neighborhoods getting hit at most, if not the exact same again down here with a severe thunderstorm now. So that's not a good thing. I know we had a house there pretty much that seemingly was destroyed by lightning there on your Thursday. So not a good situation. We had those really strong winds causing issues of downbursts according to the Weather Service in Jacksonville here, as they were telling us yesterday evening. But getting some more of that. It doesn't look quite as impressive today, but remember, velocities weren't as impressive down here as we were talking about with the radar cover, things like that. So just have to continue to watch. I see a gust recently here, 34 miles an hour. This is probably closer to an hour ago, but 34 miles an hour on Keystone. But we'll still have to watch for some higher gusts here later on as we continue to watch there. Right around, it looks like northeast second place there in Levy County as we're getting closer there between Williston Highlands and Montbrook. If I'm pronouncing that, maybe Mount Brook. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that community there. But again, just trying to give you the heads up. You see Morriston there under this warning as well in Levy County. I know it's the only county outside of the Jacksonville, Tallahassee area that we cover, but we want to make sure everybody's staying safe there in Levy County here this afternoon. It's kind of a county that a little bit on the edge between some things. I want to make sure everybody's staying safe down there as we're looking with the movement southeast at 10 miles an hour. So in theory, could be getting toward parts of Ocala maybe later on. We'll just have to watch for that because the movement of everything is so erratic here. We'll just continue here to watch all these different radar scans. But right now I get 2 warnings in play. And we're just getting some more new information and nothing we need to share with you, but some more things coming across here in the chat. But let's go ahead and go back on over to the Florida Power Outage.us mapping here this afternoon. We're going to go ahead and switch on to that. You see 6,405 customers in the dark right now. We'll go ahead and interact with this time again as well. I just think that would be helpful for everybody at home to kind of get an idea of what's going on here in terms of outages. You see 539 customers in the dark in Levy County, Putnam County 1,536 customers, Bradford County 192 customers. So just kind of giving you guys a quick rundown there in terms of the amount of folks in the dark. Not an extreme number, not quite as much as we were seeing down toward Marion County yesterday, but we'll watch to see if Marion County's number goes up some because I'm going to go back here and click on Marion because you guys might want to know that there over 1,000 in the dark, even though the percentage is lower. A little bit tricky there as you kind of just look at the map with the raw color table. But that's the Power Outage.us mapping. Let's go back on over as we continue to watch all of our different weather systems here. Our different systems as we continue to watch. You see 101 right now, Tallahassee Airport, 101 Perry, 100 there in Quincy, 100 in Bainbridge, Donaldsonville, 100 degrees, but cooler. In some of these spots, we've had the rain come across. I'm going to look behind me real quick. Looks like we're down to about 83 degrees east of Stark, so just a little bit warmer here compared to Keystone, but much cooler than much of the area. I mean, we haven't had any rain. That's actually what you want to see here, kind of getting some of that cool air mass to come on in. But we just have to watch for maybe more storm development later on. Water vapor showing all that moisture in the upper levels, and then the dew point value is high, moisture in the lower levels here as well. So we'll continue here watching that. You see our quarter cloud tops and then the visible satellite here showing things as well. So we just have to kind of make sure we're watching all the different things here in the weather enterprise here this afternoon. As I zoom out quick tropics update. I know we sometimes kind of go off topic of this, but you see maybe some development here. Ultimately, you see our system trying to track something from way down there, maybe closer down here towards Caribbean, but Further south wouldn't be as big of a concern for us, but if it tries to get further north, you just never know here. We do have something to kind of watch here as we get into next week. And last year, about the 4th of July, we had a system ended up being Elsa there and ended up impacting us pretty heavily in terms of that tornadic action and the heavy rain. And it even became a hurricane at one point. Not saying that's going to happen here, though. It's way too uncertain to give you guys some type of forecast on that as we look down there, because some of the models more hinted further south, and then it wouldn't be an issue. But if it gets further north, tries to curve up, you just never know. It depends on the pressure patterns here as well, obviously, here as we watch everything. But again, 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in play right now. One of them for parts of Levy County. Again, I'm not seeing many reports coming in, which surprises me. Granted, we did get that report there from the spotter, not damaged, but just gust of at least 60 there. And we still got to watch things moving. They're saying north at 5. Again, the movement's so erratic. I know Silver Springs, they're getting some of the worst of this. And then as we get toward Williston, we're getting some pretty nasty weather as well. Again, watching Levy County there in northern Florida. According to the Ruskin office, they're talking about a 60-mile-an-hour wind potential there. So, again, we're going to go ahead and zoom back on out here. You see a storm just outside of our area here by a little ways. We won't cover Americus, but this is outside the area by a little ways. I'm in southeast at 10, though. Marion County, Georgia, pretty far out of our area, and Taylor County, Georgia, under this warning here. So they're watching that. The Columbus stations are, but and another storm up there too. But we are getting word now. They're continuing this warning to 3 for parts of Levy County here. We're talking about a 247 severe thunderstorm located over Williston Municipal Airport, or near Williston, moving southeast at 10 miles an hour. Williston Highlands, and Williston Municipal Airport, all under this warning here. Hail damage to vehicles could occur in a minor way, but then the wind damage is always more substantial here in these type of setups. Generally, roof side and trees that could occur here in some instances. So make sure on that lowest level of a building, lowest floor, and then that lightning threat, as we've continued to emphasize, is something that you really got to take heed of as well when thunder roars. Go indoors there. That's the mantra there. You want to go indoors. But again, we're still watching things. I'm still monitoring it. I know we kind of repeat ourselves, but this with that lightning potential elevated here, that heat potential, and then with everything in play here, the storms, the damage and wind threat in play as well. We just wanted to be with you here right now as we're getting these warnings in play. We'll see what the decisions are at 3, or whether they continue these or expire these out. But we are still watching everything within the Doppler Radar algorithms. Let me go ahead and loop this here over the last little bit. You can kind of see how things coming together pretty quick. I mean, at one point we didn't really have anything on the radar, and then all of a sudden we've seen this burst of convection here on this Friday afternoon, on this June 24th, 2022. Again, just trying to monitor everything as storms try to kind of come together, and they kind of wane here in intensity. We just have to see. I know some of this is pushing out of our area towards central Florida, which is good, but we start to watch Marion County, for instance, here in this type of circumstance, in this type of situation. I know yesterday, first 100+ degree reading there, I think it ended up getting to 101 there in Daytona since the late 90s, and we had all those wildfires around there in the late 90s. Not expecting a situation like this, luckily, around, just because we're getting more moisture like we're seeing now come into the picture. But just interesting to talk about how warm the actual air temperatures were, and then the humidity, though, kind of, when that's factored in, the heat index is something you look at there for the excessive heat warnings in play. I know, speaking of the heat index and speaking of everything in regards to that, let me go ahead and go to the wide shot real quick, because this can kind of help us out a little bit. So you got the heat index, and you can see here 106 Tallahassee Airport, 107 Quincy. That's what it feels like if you're outside. I mean, Cecil Field always rates a little hotter on that because of everything, but 119 is what it, in theory, maybe feeling like there right now in that area. 115 toward Ocala. So when you get to that 115, that's when we really talk about excessive heat in play here. And that's why the excessive heat warning was issued, as you see a little bit more development there now in their Interstate 10 in Suwannee County. But speaking of heat index, that's actually something legendary meteorologist George Winterland came up with here. He worked in Jacksonville and television for about 50 years, and he came up with that because he wanted to kind of illustrate to the viewers how things feel out there, not just how the temperature looks there on the scale, but how things feel with the humidity factored in, because that's so important in this part of the country, as we know especially. So he came up with that, and that's something that's really helpful here. Of course, FSU alum there. He was in the military as well, and just really coming up with that to kind of let you know how things feel. And that's how a lot of times your heat warnings or heat advisories are triggered. Now a little bit different somewhat this week because the air temperatures have been so warm, but when you have those heat index values up, that makes things feel oppressive out there, so you got to be really careful. But again, continuing to watch right now, you got to be mindful of the severe storms in play as well. As we look here, you see west there of Ocala, we have this storm warning in play. Williston getting the brunt of things. Looking at hail tracker, and I say Williston getting the brunt. I'm talking about more of the airport's been getting some of the brunt according to other service, though. I probably shouldn't really say it like that, because Williston downtown hadn't been getting the brunt on this. I need to learn my Williston geography, because we have the airport, we have Williston Highlands, we have Williston here. But anyway, we're going to continue to watch this situation. Morriston, I know, closer down to where some of these hail signatures are set up, and even the latest scan really kind of switched that out a little bit. You see another developing area there closer in North Marion County that might get us a new warning box here in a moment. So we're going to continue to watch here in Marion County right now. You can see here some hail maybe trying to develop in that warning box still as well. They're talking about the erratic movement, really. I mean, north at 5 earlier, that warning there. We were talking about movement there north at 5 as well. But we've got other storms here. They're saying Levy County storms moving southeast. So you just got to continue here to watch things. You just got to continue to monitor the scenarios as they do evolve here in the Weather Center. So we're at 2:53 right now. We're going to see if a new warning gets issued here soon in toward parts of Marion County, maybe. We'll just kind of see here what the Doppler Radar is telling us, what the Doppler Radar is showing us. Let's see, 31 miles an hour, by the way. That gust here. Give or take toward part of Williston. This rounds down, that's why I say give or take, but then gust there in that 35 mile an hour range around Cross City over the last little bit. Some pretty high gusts that can at least cause a few issues, not extreme, not severe 60, and that's why we have the warnings, because the spotter estimated at least 60 mile an hour winds there towards Silver Spring Shores there about 2:35 in Marion County. So the heat, the winds, the humidity, the storms, we got to be continuing to watch here. It's the busy picture here. They're telling us in the chat right now. It looks like the intensity of the core and eastern Levy starting to come down, so that's some good news. Let's look at the echo tops here. Still really interesting. Echo tops going up there 60,000 feet if you look up here in some regard. And that can obviously, as things that kind of evolve, can kind of change the weather situation some. As we just got an advisory now in play until about, it looks like 3:30 for parts of Bradford, as well as, let me look over here. Bear with me for a second. We're getting new information in. Parts of Bradford, Flagler, St. John's, Alachua, Putnam. You get the idea. Union, Clay in there. We're talking about winds maybe there. Could be on a little bit stronger side, but really more concerned about minor flooding due to the heavy rainfall. As we're now learning also, 2 reports coming in here from the storms we were tracking here a little bit earlier on. Pea-sized hail reported in the Lehigh Woods section of Palm Coast, and then Satsuma there. 2:30, a tree reported on a house in Buffalo Bluff there in Putnam County. So just continuing here to get the latest in. I know we've been with you for over an hour, so hopefully maybe we'll be able to get a break here in this coverage over the next little bit if these areas kind of weaken off. You see Levy now, no warning going to be in play looking ahead, as they're telling me behind the scenes they're expiring that. So you'll see that yellow box just appear here in just a moment. We're just going to continue to see the other storm warning in play as we get toward parts of Marion. You see some wind enhancement right now, right there around southeast 24th place. Not maybe severe, but it could be pretty nasty. And they're telling us, they're giving us an update now here in the chat. Meteorologist Jason Hess here with the National Weather Service in Jacksonville saying multiple storm cores updrafts continue to intensify there over the Ocala metro area and will continue the threat for 50 to 60 mile-an-hour winds and hail there, along with minor flooding in urban areas. So that makes me think we're going to get a new warning there for parts of Marion County over the next few moments. We'll just kind of stand by for that. We'll kind of see what the Weather Service wants to do with that here over the next little bit. You look right into Ocala, very heavy blinding rain going on there toward Northeast 4th Ave, or let me check that, 4th Street there, Northeast 9th Avenue, Northeast 5th Street, Northeast 6th Street, over toward Northeast 12th Avenue as well. Blinding downpours ongoing right now in the city of Ocala, maybe even some hail mixing on in, as we've talked about here in just the last few moments. But we'll zoom back on out right now. Look at the Doppler radar. Continuing to give you guys the very latest here. Let's look at the ZDR product. You see some upscale growth closer toward Ocala. So that's maybe some of the cause for concern there from the Weather Service. It's a little bit of wind enhancement even closer toward, it looks like Northeast 9th Street here. So again, they're talking about winds up to 60, that continuing. So we'll stand by here to see what they decide to do. The velocities maybe look like they would be just under that, but with all the reports we've gotten in with velocities not all that impressive, that could be enough concern, a cause for concern to issue a new warning. By the way, some more warnings coming in now. One just north of the Tallahassee area now. This is for areas there in Sumter County. This could be headed toward Lee County, toward Terrell County, and maybe more Lee County. Moving southeast at 5 miles an hour. They're going ping pong ball size hail and 60 mile-an-hour wind gusts there with this storm. The Peachtree City offices, and of course the Tallahassee office will kind of have to make their own determination here to see exactly what type of threats could be associated with this as it heads maybe towards Smithville over the next little bit. May not sound for a storm like that depending on what type of echoes we see on the Doppler and what type of reports we get, but we're watching more toward Marion. You still see these little cores that try to pop on up on us here. These little areas of enhancement. You see here northeast of Romeo, watching things carefully there. And then north side here of Ocala, we're watching things. We'll go ahead and get on in there toward this area as we still see some wind enhancement closer towards Silver Springs in terms of some of those greens and reds bumping together, maybe some type of increased wind down toward the surface. So we're just going to continue here to watch things. I saw that temperature fall over to 73 at Williston. I mean, some areas not really even getting to that type of coolness here at night. By the way, they just went with a significant weather advisory. I didn't see that here a second ago. Talking about that warning to the north. They could always upgrade, though. Could the office there in Tallahassee for Lee and Terrell. But we'll just wait and see what they decide to do with that. But we're watching the grand scheme of things here this afternoon. Definitely some strong storms in play, and some of them reaching severe criteria at times. For the very moment, we don't have any formal warnings in play now. The 3 in our covered area, except for the excessive heat warning, of course. But we have these thunderstorm warnings, some of them just outside of the area. And okay, they just extended things now. Got to come back on the board now for parts of Marion to 330, 60 mile-an-hour wind inside hail. As you see, 102, the latest observation there in Tallahassee. What a toasty day there. But other areas kind of stand a little bit on the cooler side. As we look back down toward Marion County now to 330, we're tracking a new warning here in play now. We're just going to be tracking here, and that definitely looks like an increase in organization now. And that latest scan as we get there near Northeast 14th Street, you see a pretty big warning box being issued here at 259, and this warning came down at 3, but at 259, so thunderstorms located along the line extending from Citra to 6 miles southeast of Williston, moving southeast at 5 miles an hour here. Ocala, Rainbow Lakes, Estage, Fort McCoy, Salt Springs, Juniper Springs, Citra, Lynn, Lake Delancey, Spar, and Anthony under this warning here as well. So watching this warning now to 330 for the Ocala metro area. But some of the worst of this here right there toward, again, Northeast 14th Street there. We're also watching Northeast 25th Avenue. Looks like a mobile part there in play as well with this. So we just have to kind of watch here on street level map, and even maybe a little bit of something trying to show up here on some of our products. Kind of interesting, some type of enhancement here. Maybe some type of severe characteristics showing up there on our velocity as well. Or let me try that again. That's not the product I wanted to go to. So let's just go back over to correlation coefficient, but maybe a little bit of something set up there. So we'll watch that. We're going to take a quick break, though. I think at this point we got to stick with it, though, with this warning and play for parts of Marion, especially after what happened down there yesterday. They expired the other warning out, but you see this went out to 3:30 now. So I'm going to take a 5-minute break this time. Continuing to watch things very carefully here in the Weather Center, and we'll see you back here soon. Stay tuned. Stay safe out there.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Back here in the Weather Center at 3:07, I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud, tracking things very carefully here in the Weather Center as we are now getting 2 new warnings here in play right now, being issued by the National Weather Service offices here that serve our area. One of them is for parts of Bradford, Alachua, and Union. It says Central Bradford, but some of the worst of this right now looking more likely to be occurring here down toward the Waldo area and moving west here. Granted, the storms do have that erratic movement, erratic development potential within them. But you see La Crosse there and Alachua, Brooker here could be in the path of some of this over the next little bit. So this is a new warning being issued now until about 3:30 at 3:04. A severe thunderstorm located 8 miles southeast of Worthington Spring, moving west at 15 miles an hour. Lake Butler, Keystone, Melrose, Worthington Spring, Alachua there, Beasley, New River, Orange Heights, and Sampson under this. And they're talking about a large chord updraft in the storm there in northern Alachua County, just north of Gainesville, is supporting a large hail potential in addition to 60+ mile an hour winds. Again, the worst of this right now, they're in toward these areas. Oh, and we need to go. Let's jump to Ocala right now, folks. I know we got a new warning in Lee and Terrell and toward a new severe thunderstorm warning, but we need to jump to Ocala. I think we're seeing some rotation developing right over Ocala right now. So let's go ahead and jump on over to this. Last couple frames. Whoa, that really is not what you want to see, folks. That is a nasty signature, whether it's just a downburst or not. That is not a good signature. The frame beforehand, so in winds there closer to 60 miles an hour there, right near Northwest 6th Street. And now we're seeing winds pushing on down here. I mean, this is right there near Interstate 75. So we're talking about Southwest 25th Place in here. Maybe let's check some cameras, folks. Let me go ahead and check some cameras here in this area. See if we can get this live on the air for you to see what's happening down here. We're tracking this very carefully here for you. My goodness, the backup is not what you want to see on the road. We'll just go straight to this, and then I'll look for some more cameras here. But this tells a story of why it's not really great to be out and about right now. By the way, gust to 45 now at Gainesville Airport, and also a new warning for Ben Hill, Irwin, Tipton, Turner now to 4:15. So really things are kind of evolving on us very quickly here in the Weather Center. But let's go ahead and pull up traffic now, full screen. This is in Marion County there. You see the backup. You see the dark sky. That does not look good at all there. Looking off toward the north, you see some things kind of swaying around as well. So just one perspective here for you. I'm going to check for some more, see if we can get a visual and some type of weather maker here possibly. You just never know what we might catch here on one of these cameras live on the air here. Let's get a little to the north. You can see the traffic flowing better here, but it looks like nighttime as we get up here toward parts of Marion County. As we get into this area right now, it really did not look good there in this area. Mile marker 352 on I-75. If you're on the road there in Marion County, things are pretty nasty. Just be careful. Probably just don't even listen to me right now. Just turn it off and concentrate on the road here at this point. You see, I know it's summertime, but you even saw a school bus going by there. It looks like as you see the conditions there deteriorating in toward this area. We're just continuing to watch again in Marion County right now. Very nasty severe thunderstorm situation evolving here. We're going to go ahead as you see things kind of shake around a little bit. Shaking on around there. We'll go ahead and let's move away from that shot for the time being. That velocity picture is so impressive there for sure. So nasty of a picture that we're dealing with. Just trying to see what type of cameras, everything that's going on here in these areas, what type of cameras we can show, what type of shots we can say, you guys. They can be impressive here from time to time. Just checking here, and the color may be off on this camera, but I won't pop it up then. But again, we're just watching things carefully here, but we'll keep our eyes on this. This is very nasty wind that's going through Ocala, maybe even in the city here, but maybe some rotation closer to the interstate even. You saw that backup there. This is there not too far away. there from Northwest 33rd Avenue, even with some of this potential. This is going right through. If you're in Ocala, and you'd be in that interior room away from windows right now here in Marion County, and then we'll go up to the north. We just got an update on this Bradford County / Lotto and Union warning. This is moving west at 15 miles an hour now. We're talking about 7 miles southeast of Worthington Spring. We're dealing with this potential here for hail and wind. So just got to be careful there. We need to see the other warnings because we don't want to just completely lose track here of the warnings in South Georgia that have been issued here in the last few moments. So let's switch to our other source. This warning here is for parts of Lee and Terrell until 3:45 at 3:06. The thunderstorm was located over Smithville, or 12 miles south of America. It's moving southeast at about 20 miles an hour. So not the storm in that area in the center of it, but the one in the northern part of it coming down. And then you see here another warning for parts of Irwin, Turner, Tipton, Ben Hill until 4:15 at 3:08. The thunderstorm was located near Aspirin there, moving southeast at about 10 miles an hour. So we're watching that. Those don't look quite as impressive, but it may just be the way the radar is looking at things. I know mesoscale discussion issued for this area down towards Central Florida with some weak vertical winds here, likely limiting storm organization, but isolated damage and winds will be possible with collapsing thunderstorm cores here, and we just got to be aware of that as they're continuing that warning from Marion until 3:30 as well. The worst of this here extending from 6 miles northwest of Lynn to Ocala, or to near Ocala Airport, moving southeast at 30 miles an hour. Ocala, Rainbow Lakes Estates there, Fort McCoy, as well as Juniper Springs, Citra, under this Lynn Spar, Anthony, Silver Springs, Source, Santos under this here. Hail potential. You see some of that lining up right near the interstate. It kind of changed in the latest update, but you see some hail potential here as we get out there now, west of Waldo a little bit, kind of in a pretty rural area, looks like, but we'll just continue to watch. I'll see exactly where that is on our other mode. I mean, there are some people out there, but even seeing a little bit of wind enhancement as we get to North County Road 225 here right now. So watching that here indoor parts of northern Alachua County, not far from where we were watching things the other night. And back down to Ocala again, we're starting to see maybe it could just be the wind enhancement, but maybe some rotation trying to emerge again. You just never know. We're looking pretty high up as we've talked about in the past, but let me see what we have on camera here. It is a mess out there for sure on the traffic camera there right now, folks, on the road, stranded on the roadway here pretty much, what you could call it. And you can definitely see all those backup lights, all those lights here on the board. Things are really wicked right now toward Marion County at the present time around Ocala, looking at Interstate 75 here. Things, I mean, dangerous, downright dangerous here. To be on the roads in Marion County. I know it's just afternoon storms, and you're wondering what the big deal is, but these have a little more energy with them, a little more of the damaging characteristics with them, and dangerous characteristics with them here, with all that heat energy now turning in the storms here, developing the storms. Not a good combination, as we've been alluding to. We really hit it hard yesterday, I think, on our different platforms, as we're watching that very impressive velocity signature right there. You're seeing State Highway 200 in here. Very heavy rain, so if there's some type of wind enhancement, whether it's rotation or just downburst or some heavier winds, it'd be kind of clouded by the rain there. So that's something to kind of bear in mind here as well. It kind of be obscured by the heavy rain and maybe even a little bit of hail mixing in. So that's not a good combination here at all. As we look, let's see, we can see the clouds a little bit on this side. So let me go, it's looking south. Now, is that the way we want to be looking here, though? Yeah, I still see an interesting structure. I'm going to take it anyway. We'll just go ahead and pop this on up. You see, kind of looks like people trying to get away from some of this accent a little here as we're watching things. As we continue to watch, we'll just watch the structure a little bit here. We'll continue here to watch things, but may not exactly line up here in terms of exactly what we want to say, you guys. We'll keep you up to date. But let me go ahead and move away from this shot here for now, and we'll come back on over to the Doppler Radar And let me see what else is going on here. Just checking all the traffic cameras. Rough conditions though on the road toward Ocala right now. You can definitely see what's going on here looking northwest. I mean, you can see all that reduced visibility that's ongoing here. Nasty weather scenario that we are tracking for you here in Marion County. So we'll keep our eyes on this. But let's get back up to Bradford County now. And Union and Alachua, the lightning continues. That dangerous lightning, as it's been alluding to as well. So back up toward the north here, you can see some velocity images, kind of intriguing here, north of Fairbanks. We're just going to continue to watch here some enhancement. North County Road 225 there. We're watching some of that for you here. You see a strong storm west of Live Oak. That is moving east at 10 miles an hour, so something to watch there. Not that impressive, but a Jacksonville velocity at least. And then we have the storms in Georgia. We're looking way high up at those. But and by the way, you see some 100-degree readings with 81 mixed in there, just kind of telling you that story. The storms in play here. For sure. Right now we do have 4 warnings in our area, 4 thunderstorm warnings, plus the excessive heat warning. So it's a very busy afternoon here, kind of like what we were messaging to you guys here yesterday on all the different platforms. 1 warning right now for parts of Lee and Terrell, getting some enhanced hail potential here, trying to fill up between Smithville and Leesburg, and maybe not just much hail, it's just a nastier storm accents showing up there. That warning going there until about 3:45. Another warning toward Aspirin there, Irwin, Turner, Tipton, Ben Hill until 4:15. We're watching a severe storm near Aspirin there. We have a new warning now just coming down for Hamilton and Swanee. This goes to 3:45. We were just looking at some of this here. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning for Hamilton and Swanee. So we're up to 5 warnings now on the board as we get in tight. You see New Bern there under this, and you see that push there of the axis east at 15 miles an hour. Live Oak, Swanee Springs, Wellborn, as well as McAlpin, New Bern, and Houston under this warning here. So we'll just continue here to monitor the progress of things. That's now 5 warnings on the board here. We're watching all these trends within the Doppler Radar algorithm to see how things are showing up at that Jacksonville site, at that Tallahassee site. Just trying to give you guys the very latest information. And it's so unusual to have these extreme temperatures here and then have some of this moisture come in, and that's really setting the stage here and causing these storms to be nasty to us here and for our area. So 5 warnings in play. Again, running things down for you because I mean we can't talk about all 5 of them here at once, but we'll try our best to here. The warning for Marion and the warning for Alachua, Bradford and Union go until 3:30. Lee and Terrell to 3:45. Hamilton and Swanee to 3:45 as well. And then Ben Hill, Irwin, Tipton, Turner goes all the way to 4:15 with that severe thunderstorm warning. So very busy afternoon picture. Tallahassee staying dry, but they're staying hot. 102 there, 101 in the Perry area. And you see the heat index values high over toward the Big Bend. Even toward Cecil Field and Jacksonville, that's a really high number as well with the heat index, mixing the humidity there with the, of course, our actual air temperature. So, again, just going to continue here to watch things, continue here to watch the scenario that's ongoing. We're just trying to give you guys the very latest here to protect you, your friends, and your family. I know we get repetitive at times, but we're coming to this outlet here on all the digital streams to keep you guys protected the best we can. We're informing you about what's in your area and what the Doppler Radar pictures show. And of course, when we're not on the air, you have cloudweather.com/radar. But we had a feeling this afternoon it would get pretty nasty, and that's what we're seeing here right now. Really nasty storm down toward Ocala. Let's check velocity down there again. It's not as organized as it was, but definitely could have had some damage there in Ocala. I suspect based on that we probably did. Banner, we're looking higher up here, so that might be a little bit of a good thing here in that maybe it wasn't as bad as it showed, but we need a better scan there to be quite honest here and be helpful in these type of situations. So let me go ahead now. We'll bounce back on over our power outage numbers again. Power outage.us mapping. You can see how it's really picked up here to where Marion County now. Even Levy County's picked up here as well. So let me go ahead and we'll interact with this again and break this down county by county for you guys towards your local community here as you watch with us. Levy County, 1,715 customers in the dark. Marion County, 7,191 customers now in the dark there. Putnam County, just over 2,000 folks in the dark. And even Bradford, 328 customers in the dark. So we're just kind of watching the latest trends here with this weather situation. But Marion County, I mean, that really stands out there as I kind of move this one over there once again. 7,191 customers in the dark. That is telling. So nasty, nasty weather down there. And they're now going, they're continuing this, they're calling it considerable damage threat now. Interesting because it's seemingly maybe not quite as nasty in some regard on radar at least, but they may be getting some information in even here that could be pretty nasty. And maybe the Tampa radar is showing something. We're looking at 8,000 feet on this. Let me check Tampa real quick. Yeah, that could be something in there they're concerned about right there. That's about the same distance, and right around State Road 200, we're seeing some pretty nasty wind enhancement right on the edge of this here. So that could be some justification. Granted, I'd probably need a new warning though. Over the next little bit, they're continuing the old one with the considerable tag now. Along the line extending from near Lynn to 6 miles southwest of Ocala Airport, moving southeast at 30. So now 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts are staying in half-dollar size hail. Possible we could have considerable tree damage and wind damage. Also could occur to things in places like mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings there. Ocala, Rainbow Lakes Estate, Juniper Springs, Lynn, Spar, Santos, Anthony, Ocala Airport, Silver Springs, Swords, and Lowell under this warning. So that's the Tampa radar. We're going to switch back to the Jacksonville. But in the meantime, let's go back on over here to our other viewpoint. Let me go ahead and punch this on up here. Looks like we'll go ahead and throw that up on the screen now as we continue along. It looks like a hail area still closer to La Crosse now, guys. If you're wandering around La Crosse, you can see we had a really nasty signature just west there, but even about an inch size hail could be headed for La Crosse right now, and that could also be with a threat here for some stronger wind gusts as well. Maybe the bigger threat even is the wind gust potential there, so we have to watch for that. Again, 5 warnings on the board at the present time. 5 yellow boxes here. 3 in North Florida, 2 in South Georgia, and our covered area, 1 more just outside of it. But this is one of the busier afternoons that might have all summer here, here in this type of pattern that we're seeing that's evolving right now. Again, 4:15, the expiration for a warning for parts of Ben Hill, Irwin, Tipton, Turner. We have 3:45 for parts of Hamilton and Swanee, 3:45 for parts of Lee and Terrell, 3:30 for parts of Alachua, Bradford, and Union, 3:30 for parts of Marion County as well. So busy picture. We're watching it all for you. Again, with thunder roars going doors. Seek shelter inside that sturdy building. Get away from windows. You have that damaging wind threat in play. That's a nasty one to deal with. You have our surface-based cape values. The high temperatures, all that really jet fuel, if you want to call it that, and play to get things going here. And you have our visible satellite showing things, and the infrared satellite will show the colder cloud tops here, and the water vapor will show all that moisture in the upper levels here as we get that photograph. But let me check something else real quick on the meso. I know kind of interesting to see a little bit of supercell composite that's showing up. So we'll watch to see if we get anything to kind of spin on us. But it's more about just that really nasty weather that could be impacting your community here this afternoon as we continue along with you. We've been on for 2 hours now. We've been talking for a while. And we're continuing to do that to protect you, your friends, and your family here this afternoon. We don't always do this in this summertime period. But with the nature of the storms today, it's very important that we're with you guys to give you guys the latest information. Now, tomorrow we're going to have some storms, maybe more toward Tallahassee. Sunday, chances fall off some. Monday, even more so, which is good news. But then as we look ahead later on, we'll probably start to see more moisture coming to the picture as we get toward the middle of next week. So we'll continue, obviously, to give you the updates, that full update here on Tuesday from the Weather Center on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. But, of course, if we need to be on tomorrow, here we'll do that as well with you. Even Sunday, if something develops, we'll be here, as we always are, in situations that require us to come on. If the situation isn't bad enough, though, we can always just post there, Facebook, Twitter, with the latest information and the automated alerts actually come across there at Cloud_WX on Twitter, as they're now telling us they're dropping the warning from Marion County. So that's kind of interesting there. Still seeing some stronger wind, maybe closer toward Bellevue in that 40 to 50 range, I would say. But that's going to get us down now to 4 warnings at the present time, at least, on the big board here. You see 2 of them are still in Florida, 2 in Georgia. We have some of the worst of this storm north of Fairbanks, though, right now, closer toward northeast 142nd Lane. The storm there around Live Oak. Let's switch to the better radar for this. Let me see. It may actually be, yeah, it's going to be Tallahassee because the Moody's down, so need to make sure. I may try to switch it to Moody on there, but we'll continue to watch here. This is the broad perspective of things. Things pulse up, pulse down, and we're here to guide you through them here this afternoon as we give you guys the latest information here. We're at 3:28 on that clock. Just got past that longest day of the year, but we still have all that heat energy around, and that can be problematic. And actually, let's switch to the Tallahassee radar because the Valdosta site, unfortunately, obviously still down. It's trying to switch us to that. Kind of what I thought it might do there, but again, we've been with you for a while, so if we kind of stutter around from time to time, I apologize. That's why we're off camera, really, just because I knew we'd be probably going for a while today, and this is not as much of a tornadic situation as this a dangerous severe thunderstorm situation, a more focused summertime day here. Okay, even though they expired the other warning, they're issuing a new one. I don't 100% know why they're doing it like that, but we'll go along with it. They're going to issue a new warning now for Marion County until 4 o'clock for 71-hour wind potential and a little over inch-size hail possible as well. So it went away, but they're going to issue a new one here until 4 o'clock to the top of the hour. But get out toward Live Oak here. We're seeing some of that wind enhancement. It's a little harder to see on this area, but still could have gusts to 60 miles an hour there. And then Marion, actually that radar now, best one would be Tampa. That might be why they're issuing it, though, because that little area right down there. It's just the way they overlap is kind of weird in some regard. But this is far southwestern parts of really of Marion County, where we see some things coming together here, moving south at 15 miles an hour on the movement as we continue here to just see. I know that warning for looks like areas there around La Crosse no longer on the board at the present time, so that's some good news. So we're back down to 4 warnings again, and things kind of wane and wax here. But let's go ahead and go back up to the north now. You see near Interstate 75 there in South Georgia around Ashburn. We're getting some pretty nasty weather conditions there. Toward Lee and Terrell counties there north of Albany, we're getting some pretty nasty weather. But then watching north central Florida here, 329 west of the severe thunderstorm potential is over Live Oak. We're going to hit at 15 miles an hour. Live Oak, Swanee Springs, Wellborn, McAlpin, and Houston. And this one is, we watch down toward Ocala here as well. Near Ocala Airport and near Ocala moving south at 15 miles an hour. Let me check to see what type of wind we got out of the Ocala Airport, by the way. Curious. 21 miles an hour. I'm surprised it's that low, but they get a gust there. We were alluding to it earlier, 45 there around Williston. I think we got that in here just a little while ago, but let me go ahead and punch back up the power and its mapping once again here as we continue along to give you the latest. You see just the high concentration outages toward especially Levy, Marion, and Putnam, but some in Bradford, some in Flagler. You see some toward the eastern part of the Big Bend really there as well. A little bit of that trying to sew up there. Worse toward Levy, Marion, and Putnam here. Over 16,000 folks in the dark in the state right now. So that's definitely playing a role in some of your daily afternoon activities that you're in or trying to take place in. We'll just continue here though. Let's get back on to the Doppler viewpoint right now. We'll go back on over to the Doppler You can see here we're watching things around Gainesville. You see some wind enhancement there, but this wind enhancement down here, a little more pronounced here as we get toward parts of southwestern Marion County. I know we're on a Tampa radar. This is headed south, but it's probably headed kind of between Citrus and Sumter counties here. So that'll be kind of interesting to watch the progression. That'll be out of our TV area, our covered area per se, but that's in the Tampa jurisdiction there in terms of the weather service and the television market in general, the technical television market. But let me go ahead and come back on over right now. We'll punch this up. Let's go back on over to our other broad perspective. Some of that stuff doesn't look as impressive as it did. Granted, that velocity down in Marion still pretty nasty looking, but some of it looks more like a little bit more like at least some of your typical thunderstorm activity, but it still goes with the risk there of lightning. That can be very dangerous as we continue to read these temperatures here to you. We got multiple spots still over 100 in Camilla, or at least 100, I should say. 100 there toward Quincy. I mean, some of these 100.4 things, that sort. But Tallahassee, 102, 101 there in Bainbridge. So definitely that warm air. And then we have that moisture. We have that humidity, those lower levels there, and the upper levels. You've seen it here displayed, and that causes these storms to get going here this afternoon. And that's why we're covering them for you on all the different platforms. I know we're sitting in a tornado warning situation, so you might be wondering why I went so long, but this situation with so many warnings, I think it's better, really the safer thing to do here with these type of warnings, to be with you here because of the potent nature of things. And then you have the heat, which can still be deadly. I mean, right now Tallahassee hadn't had rain, so you don't know really what's going on, except maybe you're looking in the distance at some of the clouds. But I mean, 102 degrees can be deadly for folks. I mean, that type of heat, a heat advisory in play, very dangerous, and then a heat index of 107 there at the Tallahassee airport. So that tells the weather story here for sure. So we're just watching all that for you. Let me go ahead, just check on here. You see the heat index 107 there, but temperature trying to fall off some there toward Marion County. As we look there, you see Martell and Ocala getting some heavier rain. That looks like a rotational signature almost there. As we get down there, it's kind of on the edge, so it's a little bit odd the way it shows up, because it may just be the distance and it may be reaching the surface, or maybe it's not. But this is right there. This north, that's pretty nasty signature nonetheless there. Moving closer towards Citrus County. We don't cover Citrus or Sumter, but this is just starting to move into those areas now. Still in Marion for now, though. Still in there just barely as we're watching things. We don't generally look at stuff down here, but some of it's starting to creep in toward Sumter County and Citrus County now, with some stronger wind potential within this. We're just trying to see how things are co-located within the Doppler radar here. I know, just trying to give you guys the latest updates. We'll go ahead and zoom back on out to the broad perspective now. Just want everybody to stay safe out there. I know we've kind of we've been on for a couple hours, just trying to make sure we talk about everything. So things can definitely get redundant at times, but you still have that wind risk in play. That green area, that's a damaging wind risk here. Isolated damaging winds, definitely a possibility. So we have to be mindful of that here as we continue to watch here these moisture levels in the upper levels here. And then you have your visible satellite there and your infrared satellite. Also, the colder cloud tops in play, more so in northern Florida and in southern Georgia even. Storms in northern Florida a little more robust than the storms in southern Georgia, it seems, based on radar, satellite, and the reports. So there's kind of some perspective for you guys there. We'll go ahead and look back over the last 12 hours now in terms of the rainfall amounts. You can see toward parts of Levy County there, about 3 inches of rain. Showing up there as we get closer to Otter Creek. You see the south side of Williston, Highlands, about 3 inches of rain southeast of Ocala there. We're talking about 3 inches of rain. Parts of Putnam County there, about 3.5 inches of rain. So that's definitely something to deal with. Definitely something to be monitoring here. You can see a little bit of broad rotation there, but earlier on, seeing a little more of that showing up in rotation tracker. Saw some of that in Putnam County there as well. So just kind of interesting to get all the different information in there to our system. And I'm going to go ahead and check behind the scenes right now to see what type of reports we're getting potentially in here out of this area. I'm going to go ahead and check here as we continue along. I know this is some nasty weather that we're dealing with. I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, but that's how it works right now. We're just trying to see what's happening. So just, again, severe thunderstorm watch unlikely towards central Florida, but definitely seeing some things there. Some things that are pretty nasty and play nonetheless. Go ahead and check some more things behind the scenes. Just trying to see if there's any type of reports coming in. We've been on for a while. I know I keep repeating myself. I'm going to take a break here in just a moment, but just trying to see if there's anything we need to get you here before we do so. Any type of reports may be coming into the Weather Center. Just trying to see here what's going on. So, pretty nasty weather in play. Just bear with me here. I'm trying to read through some different things here in the Weather Center. I've been on for a long time, so sometimes when we're on for so long here, I just kind of have to catch our breath here as well. But just dark conditions, lots of thunder here in towards some of these different areas. So I know we even have a warning now. It's a thunderstorm warning out of the Melbourne office for Lake County. You see that popping up on the screen there. West Central Lake County until 4:15 at 3:38. It's a thunderstorm located near Fruitland Park or near Lake Griffin, near Lake Stationary. We don't cover these areas necessarily, but with us on the air here, we're continuing to watch things toward Leesburg, Eustis to Very's there, Lady Lake, and Mount Dora. So we're watching that trend. I know even national severe weather starting to erupt. As we get off topic here for a second, a tornado warning in North Dakota here. So we zoom up that way real quick. You see that red box popping up. Tornado warning for parts of Cavalier and Walsh counties until 3:30 Central Time. So we'll watch there as we just got a new warning in our area now. It's a thunderstorm warning until 4:45 for parts of Lee County and Worth counties here. We'll just continue to monitor the progress of things with this activity. So again, just trying to see what's going on here. 3:39, severe thunderstorm located near Leesburg here, moving southeast at 25 miles an hour. So Leesburg, Albany, Warwick there, Chokey, Stocks, Forster, as well as Palmyra, Century, getting over toward Jordan Place there, Starksville, there in South Georgia, and then we even have areas around Philema, Oakfield under this. So going to be watching that potential there with 3 warnings in play in South Georgia and in our covered area, 2 warnings in play right now in North Florida. So 5 total for our viewing circle as we continue along with you here. 70-mile-an-hour wind still possible in southern parts of Marion County. So that's still something they're tracking at the Weather Service in Jacksonville. Still watching all those latest radar scans here. We're just trying to stick with you here to keep you guys advised on what's happening. And no, we're watching these algorithms for you. You see over a rural area, maybe something, but a lot of the worst of this is moving south. You see earlier there was a gust there at the Leesburg Regional Airport at 44 miles an hour. Actually, that was just in the last few moments, it looks like, as that warning was getting issued. So maybe even some more potent winds, stronger winds, maybe trying to come in to the picture there over the next little bit. We'll just kind of see how those winds trend here as we continue to monitor things. So I'm going to switch back to the Jacksonville radar now, try to give you guys that perspective. We're going to try to give you guys the very latest here on everything that's going on with this activity. Let's go to Live Oak right now. Actually, let me go ahead and punch this up. You want to see what we're talking about over here. This is off the Jacksonville site. I know, okay, they're telling us here in the chat now, wind gust of 39 was reported at 3:35 at the Live Oak Airport with outflow from the severe thunderstorm warning going across Swanee County. This isn't the most impressive storm here, but nonetheless, it is in play. It is pretty interesting here out toward the Swanee River Valley. And then as we get over toward the areas here toward the south, let me go ahead and punch up our broad perspective as we get that to come on in now. They're telling us now multiple trees being reported down there, blocking Highway 121 south of Williston. As the worst of the damage occurring there, it looks like in that 245, 246, somewhere in their time range. So that's what we're being told. As some of that action here to kind of push us on off. We're still seeing how the algorithms catch on up with it, how the Doppler trends go. Just quite a few reports here of some issues again. Tracking some down trees there. Also, other report actually down trees along Highway 326 there to the east of Morriston. That happened around 244. So busy afternoon down there toward the Nature Coast for sure. And some of that action pushing more into central Florida, but we're watching things in northern Florida, South Georgia, in our covered area at the present time. And I think it's another chance here now, another time to look at that power outage.us map here. So let me go ahead and punch that up. We'll show you guys what we're talking about in terms of the very latest information here. Almost 18,000 folks in the dark right now. Again, the worst of this has been toward Levy, Marion, Putnam counties here, as you can kind of tell by this mapping. So we'll go ahead and interact with this once again. I'll go ahead and kind of get a look at some of these counties. You see Levy County, 1,710 customers in the dark, but a higher percentage than Marion. But Marion has over 9,000 customers in the dark. That's impressive. And then as we get toward Putnam County, nearly 2,000 customers. Just a few in Bradford, and you see some of toward Madison County. We'll watch those. And in fact, let me go ahead and get the Georgia numbers ready to go here as well. We'll kind of pull up some of that information, and you'll see what we're talking about in Georgia here even. I'm going to go ahead and kind of interact with this to see what the county-by-county trends are here with the latest. We'll get in here. Mitchell County, 617 customers in the dark. Worth County, 620 customers in the dark. So seeing a few folks lose power up into Peach State here in our covered area as well. So definitely these storms having an impact as we've been alluding to. But right now let's get back over to the Doppler. We'll go ahead and go back on over here toward the Doppler radar. Let me go ahead and see where we want to go with this. I think, let me go ahead and pull up our other radar mode right now. We have so many different systems that we have up from time to time. So let me go ahead, make sure we're going to the right things here for you. And that's just one of those perspectives that we can see here in the weather center right now, down to 3 warnings in that area. It looks like the one for Swanee, at least as of now, is the 345 has gone off the board, but we'll see if a new warning is issued. Haven't had any severe winds up in that range, that region there, but we'll continue here to track things within the Doppler. So 3 warnings in play at the present time. You still see some action near I-75. That's pretty interesting looking. We're watching some of that. The worst of it to the west of 75, but still got to be monitoring it, obviously. Still see over 100-degree temperatures as we get toward Tallahassee. 100 even there, Quincy. 100 there toward Donaldsonville. So areas that haven't gotten the rain, they are hot. And they're continuing the warning now for parts of Marion until 4. The latest update, they're telling us 60-mile-an-hour winds and hail under an inch now. The threats to hail is not technically what it's being warned for now, but it is still being warned for that wind potential here. Getting my words mixed up because we've been on for so long, over 2 hours now with this live stream pretty much, it looks like. Maybe right at 2 hours, but nonetheless, we're continuing here on because it's important to give you the latest. At 3:45, a severe thunderstorm was located 7 miles southwest of Santos, or 10 miles south of Ocala, moving south at 15 miles an hour. Wearsdale, Santos, as well as Ocklawaha there, Silver Spring Shores, Lake Weir, Bellevue, and Summerfield under this warning there as we get towards southwestern Marion County there. So we're going to continue here to track things. Let me pull up our model run now. It's not going to maybe be the best thing here because sometimes these type of situations not going to represent perfectly here the scenario that's ongoing, but we're going to take everything off and then we're going to try to get into our model guidance. I'm going to run it to the most current information. I just want to see how it develops things here. So this is the viewpoint 4. It's doing decent in some regard. We'll put regular radar on to compare it. I mean, it's missing a few things, but it's starting out okay, at least here at 4 o'clock in terms of some of the general trends here. Not really having too much up toward this dark area. So I'm curious to see how it kind of develops things. So, because you just never know exactly what could happen in these type of erratic scenarios. There's 5 o'clock. There's 6 o'clock there, 7 o'clock. So it looks like it wants to keep the rain away from Stark, and that'd be good news here. Very good news as we get in toward the evening hour if you have some of the evening plans. That's 10 o'clock there. So we'll back it up again. That's 9, that's 8, 7, 6, 5. So maybe some issues toward Gainesville there, but we'll continue to watch. It's 4 o'clock there on the board. So just kind of giving you guys that look at things there. Despite all that thunder, that power flickering here right now, things look better towards Stark, but they can always change here. They can always change on us, so don't let your guard down, obviously, here in this type of weather situation. Again, things are tricky this time of year to get a good handle on. Models are showing a different story earlier on here, telling a different story. So you just have to kind of be on guard how things can go here this time of year. So just putting back on the latest information. Got 3 warnings in the area right now. The one for parts of Marion until 4 o'clock. Some of the works that are pushing out of Marion, not quite as strong as it was. And then you have storms in southern Georgia. They don't look all that impressive, but just never know here. I'm going to check a different radar for these because you kind of have to play around here with some of this action there toward the north. Looks like a Robbins Air Force Base radar might tell the weather story a little bit better there. Have a little bit of wind enhancement here. So I'm going to go ahead and punch this one up. You can see a little bit of greens and reds here coming together west of Oakfield. We'll continue to watch things carefully there. State Road 195 just to the east there of that. As we just got a new warning, so I guess we're not going to be going anywhere. They're really over kind of a warning to kind of wrap things up here this afternoon, to kind of warning to make sure, I don't want to use the wording overwarn. That's kind of what it's starting off with, but what I mean by that is that could be a good thing though, because you can have a lot of cloudy ground lightning strikes here, and then maybe it's not readily apparent that the winds are reaching the surface, but they could actually be reaching the surface here. So I mean, the stuff in North Florida has been very impressive. We haven't had that many reports here, if any, toward South Georgia, but things can change in a hurry here as we continue to watch things as we look toward Adele, Cook County, Berrien County, Lowndes, Brooks, and Colquitt counties here under a warning until 4:45. Nashville, Adele, Valdosta, Hira, Sparks, Omega, Lenox, Morven, Berlin, Cecil, Ellington, Green-Benham State Park, New Lois, Massey, Greggs, Flat Ford, Wagon Wheel there, Allenville, Cottle, Cook County Airport. And this, we're watching near Interstate 75 there as I continue to watch that marginal risk area on our other source as well. We have 3 warnings, a 4th warning. It's that set of area for parts of Chris, Wilcox, and Dooley counties around Cordell, seeing some pretty nasty weather. So these algorithms here, maybe not sowing the wind as much up here, but there's that potential to get that wind down toward the surface, which is always concerning. So we have to be aware of that. So right now we've dropped all the Florida warnings. First time we've been able to say that here, really, as we've been watching things. We have 3 in our covered area in Georgia. I may go ahead and wrap things up pretty soon based on the reports, based on radar indications, and come back if necessary, as necessary, and then post new warnings as they come out if we don't have to come back on. But I'm going to give it a few more minutes here just to kind of see how things are playing out within the Doppler Radar algorithms here. I know that storm down toward Marion no longer warned, but a strong thunderstorm advisory, significant weather advisory there in play down there. So I know we also don't have the Moody radar, which also plays a role here in issuing some maybe extra type of warning situations here. Just because you can't really see the lower level scans, so you want to err on the side of caution here for folks. Make sure they have adequate warning. But we're going to go ahead now and see what's going on here with the velocity. Again, maybe just a quick downburst of wind. That'd be more probable than the more prolonged wind potential, I would think, like what we've maybe seen in some areas toward northern Florida. But strong to isolated severe storm threat will continue. They're seeing along the I-75 corridor of inland northeast Florida, with the latest strong storm going up in northwestern Alachua County near High Springs with 45 to 55 mile-an-hour winds possible, according to the Weather Service office there in Jacksonville, and 3/4 of an inch-sized hail. So continuing to watch here, continuing to track everything. Let me go ahead and check the Doppler here. We're just trying to give you guys the latest information. We still could have some 60-mile-an-hour winds in an occasional manner up here. It just doesn't look as widespread or as organized to me here. Granted, we're looking at some different radar perspectives here, but I definitely could still have some damage occurring, and that's what the severe thunderstorm warning and warnings are in play for, to protect you and warn you of that potential threat. So that's what we're watching right now. Again, one warning for parts of Berrien, Brooks, Colquitt, Cook, and Lowndes until 4:45. You can see Irwin, Turner, Tipton, Ben Hill until 4:15, and then Lee and Worth until 4:45. So busy picture up here. I know, just trying to give you guys the latest perspective. I'm going to switch to a different view of these. You see a little bit more enhancement maybe on the one radar in terms of the rain and maybe some little bit of hail mix in toward Cook County. Still be careful. Lightning without a warning or an advisory can still be deadly, so you got to keep that in mind. Whether even if you don't have a warning like what we're seeing in North Florida, we also have that excessive heat warning in play, as we've been talking about towards some of those Gulf Coast counties. So that's something to watch here as well. But let's watch that storm down toward the High Springs area. I'm curious because that actually, at least on a broad perspective, is showing up stronger than anything else in terms of that core. By the way, gusts there almost to 60 miles an hour toward Lake County over the last little bit with some of that action pushing out of Marion County and hitting a sensor there. There is still a warning in play for parts of the lake. If you see that yellow box at the very bottom of the screen, the northern part of it, zoom back down a little bit with the mapping. But Gilchrist now in advisory until 4:45, so we'll watch for that. The wind enhancement is here around High Springs. It's not really impressive, but it is here. So let me go ahead and punch this out. See a little bit of that. Nothing, again, overwhelming. That's the good news here, but we'll have to continue here to watch the trends. Again, we're watching in southern Georgia as well. We're also watching the storm in Orange County, Central Florida. Nasty storm prompted a warning for a storm there near the Orlando International Airport, not really moving around, and that can add up those rainfall totals pretty quick on us. But we're still watching this up in Georgia. I'm going to recap them here, and unless I get something new here, we're going to wrap it up for now and then display it by year. But I got a warning, a thunderstorm warning for parts of Lee and Worth until 4:45. Another one here for parts of Irwin, Turner, Tipton, Ben Hill until 4:15. And a third one here for parts, it looks like, of Cook, Berrien, Lowndes, Brooks, and Colquitt until 4:45. Even though I'm going off, don't lay your guard down. These storms can still cause wind damage. And any storm, when you hear that thunder roar, can cause lightning damage or lightning injury even. So, gotta be really aware, gotta be really cognizant of what's happening here. We'll be back if needed the rest of the day or tomorrow, but otherwise we'll post updates if necessary. It's on all the different platforms. Let me go ahead and pop that list up before we wrap it up for now here. Again, very well may have to come back on for you, but Facebook at KCCloudWX there, and at Cloud Weather, Twitter at Cloud KC. You have the auto alerts there at Cloud_WX on Twitter as well. As you see the margin risk area, maybe update a little bit here on this in just a second. Of course, the YouTube coverage there. Search for meteorologist KC Cloud. You can do that there, and you can also just watch on that Roku device. That's a helpful way to do that. And then Twitch meteorologist KC Cloud and cloudweather.com has all the links for you there in one spot at the top of the home page. Just under the very top tab, but it's live. It talks about live coverage there, and you have 4 different links, but for that: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, of course. You see the margin of risk actually now being trimmed out of Bradford County, so that's some good news here. Still could have some stronger storms, but it seems like the severe activity may be focused more toward the green area on your screen. So we'll be watching, we'll be tracking, be back here as needed. It's been pretty quiet in terms of rain here in Startup. We had some thunder, lightning around, and we even had the power flicker a few times, even though we didn't have any precipitation measured here. But we're going to watch. I'll look at my gauge real quick to make sure. See, we're down in the 70s here, so unique environment that we're down with. Some areas not really getting the storminess as much, things a little more tame, but We'll be back if needed. We're watching the storms in Georgia. You see the 3 warnings in our area, the 1 outside of our area. If things ramp up, and if we need to be back on, we'll do so. But for now, thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me.